In a fast-growing social media world, deciphering between the true, the authentic, and the honest individuals creating real disruptive changes in their industry has become very difficult. Many people are quick to flash the cars, the money, but very slow to give people the true wisdom they seek. This is why we started the Real Estate Disruptors, to bring you in front of the real disruptors, changing not only the barriers in their industries, but doing it and impacting millions of lives. Welcome to the Disruptor Network.
You know, sometimes when you have to sit down, I do my meditations and stuff, sometimes I just sit back and just observe my life and go like, am I on the right path or am I doing this? And like, what does my life really look like right now, right? And I go and I realize, I'm like, we really are like project-based. Like when it comes to it, that it's like we're working on something here and then something that like 3 months right now is very different from 3 months in the like last year or next year.
Like it's just a person.
Yeah, it's like we're jumping from all these different spheres where it's like it keeps us pivoting into different directions that can always end up being growth.
As we go through the process, all the people we filmed about, we spoke to them about, we're in a growth period.
Yep.
Tommy's building something that's coming to completion. He's going to start building something else.
I've designed so far on this thing, I may keep it for myself. You never know.
And Anthony Lally, and now from what we saw, which was a lot about his journey from being fat to six-pack, right? Mm-hmm. He's now on to something else. Like he's competing in 6 bodybuilding competitions between now and September, and he's filming another Docu-Series.
I inspired a lot of people in the entrepreneurial world, the real estate world and success world and money world. And I wanted to show people that you can succeed in fitness too.
The third episode, which I believe was the women, right?
Yeah, this is for Women's International.
Yeah, so Vanessa De Leon, I saw the other day that Brownstone now is coming to completion of a new restaurant, which is her and her husband's restaurant that they're opening in South Jersey that she's designing.
Wow.
She just finished 2 design products. So you see, I think it's more of a personality type, but you start to see all these people start to kind of grow into different things. Mm-hmm. So that's very interesting too. Like the people we were filming are now like this growth. And
they're literally disruptors.
Yeah, they're literally disruptors.
That's the thing that's so cool, that it's like, it's not somebody that's already done doing. They just continue to move forward. You know, they continue to do like more things because at the end of the day, a lot of these disruptors, although a lot of them have fame, some of them have no fame at all, right? But for us, it was more like being able to bring the right people in front of you that you should follow, not the Instagram people that are, everybody's like Lamborghinis, money everywhere, but more like this person has value. And if you chose to watch, let's just say Vanessa De Leon in that episode, you know, maybe I should follow her. And let me see continuing her journey. Yeah. And she's on that hustle every single day, you know, and you're gonna be able to have something really to follow.
When people ask me, well, how did you start? Man, it was a hustle. Every day was something new. Every day I would figure out different ways of getting into the doors of people and architects and builders and just sending them press kits and how did you get published? Knocking on those doors. I believe that you're your only competition. There could be many interior designers, but there's only one Vanessa.
I think everybody we highlighted, you show were very, very normal people that just went through their own process to get where they were, which is the same thing we're doing it. And I even watched some of the stuff that was of you and I that seems like years and years ago, and it was recent, because I think that not that we live in the moment, but I think in the moment whatever we're working on, we're very passionate about. So if you catch us in that moment, that's what comes out, and you think that's who we are. You know, we like you said, we're project based. Like we work to completion of project, and some of these people were the same. Like you get to the next episode, and it was Joey Greeny and the Sims quarterback school guys. It was Joe Taggart and Matt Sims, and for Joey Greeny, the season just started, and like now it's on to they're trying to win a championship again. So what would that journey look like? They went from being a team that was in the World Series that didn't win to now they're in the championship. So like, you know, just speaking to him, it's like it's a different persona this year than it was last year. There's a different expectation. So how do you grow within that?
I felt like I had a big impact on not so much a player's career, but their life. You know, their lifestyle, and talking to them about you know, proper nutrition, proper strength training, conditioning. You know, because not everybody's going to be a Major League Baseball player, but these kids, they're going to be someone's father. They're going to be a husband someday. So it's the values and the life skills and the character and the leadership that they learn at a low level that they can take on and help other people too.
The other guys, they're rolling up on the NFL draft and college football season next year. So what guys are you going to have in the draft, and what guys are going to be the new Division I quarterbacks? And I don't think we even spoke about that in the episode about how many NFL quarterbacks they've coached and how many guys are Division I college football players. And because what was great about those two guys is they spoke more about life. And what life skills were. So I think that was an important message in the whole entire thing. Like, there weren't people bragging about their accomplishments. Like Joey, I don't even think mentioned that he was in the World Series last year, Greeny. And the other guys didn't mention that they had 3 quarterbacks drafted in the NFL draft last year. Yeah, they were just talking about life, right?
Nice and relax, throw. Step, turn, go. Damn, really good.
As you guys would say, we kind of disrupted this area with quarterback training. There's a lot of different coaches in the area, but I'm a firm believer in what we do. We make a difference not only in like the athletes, you know, ability, but definitely reduce their likelihood of injury and just make them a more efficient mover / thrower.
Right, and how do you do that? You do that by being consistent with your training, right? Being consistent with your life, that balance you're talking about, right? Building that discipline too with your coaches, with your parents, with your teachers, and, you know, applying all those lessons, you know, to kind of give you that head start.
It's almost like a lot of these disruptors, like they carry something within them that it's more like they have the work ethic, they have everything, but they have like this characteristic of wanting to like continue to be great, and they continue to push forward, you know what I mean? And it has to do with life. Like if your life, like my coach used to say in high school, like life's a mess, game's a mess, you know? And it's like getting everything else organized within your life to be able to be successful.
I like that, yeah, no, and I like that the show was highlighting people from different industries, and it wasn't just real estate or entrepreneurs, and it wasn't just an interior designer, it wasn't just sports, then it was music, and then we moved on to you know, Sycamore and Hovain. For people in the know in that business, they're big deals, but for people outside of that, maybe they don't know who they are. So like, you know, what are these guys doing? And the same thing with them. Like, if you talk to them today, and those interviews were probably 2 months ago, they're probably in a completely different trajectory right now. Just applying the same principles that they spoke about, but they're working on, like I know for a fact that Sycamore's working on his own label right now that's really hyper-focused on producers, not artists, which is something different outside of the box. You know, and Hovain is got 3 new artists that he's working with right now that he's on to something, you know, so it's just like, everybody spoke about how they got to a place, like, and I think Sycamore and Hovain came from similar places, but how they got to a place, the skills they used to get there, and then how they're using that to kind of facilitate their life on a go forward. And, you know, that was important, especially for people like that Hovain said something in the episode that really stuck with me. He said 2 things, but one of the things he said was, I said, well, how do you go from standing on a street corner and talking to those guys and then going to corporate America and talking to those guys? He's like, I'm just me. I'm very good at being me, right? Like, and if I walk in every room as me, then I don't have to ever pretend to be somebody else. And
it's funny because from that interview, what I remember the most, especially being somebody that makes music, is that when he was talking, because these are the insider details that are like very important, just like when it comes to the real estate show that we'll have, that it's really like about knowing those inside things that are just very important for artists or like entrepreneurs to know. And how he tells you that, he's like, and I think we used that as an ad, where he says,
don't worry about me. I tell artists all the time, cater to your fan base, build out your fan base, cater to them, create unique fan engagements, grow your base. I'm gonna find you. If you're doing what you need to do, I'm gonna find you.
Good point.
I'm on top of my shit, I'm gonna find you. Don't worry about catering to the 1% of people that work in the music industry. Worry about your fan base and doing things for them and growing your buzz.
You know, like things like that are just like actually key things where if you're an artist watching this or something like that, you go, man, like that actually changed my whole business plan on how to make music.
And he said, just be good at being you, basically, and I'll find you.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about me, just be good at being you and find you. And Sycamore said something too. He kind of talked about his trajectory through corporate, and he said a couple of things that really, and I know him for a million years and still said some things that resonated with me, that he was like, you know, when I first got into corporate America, I didn't know that culture, and you know, who hangs out and makes coffee together, and who does this together, and like I had to kind of learn how to play that game, and like he was talking about kind of like growth stages in his life. You know, like get to a different place, and now he's in a place where he seems so calm, cool, and collected. But it's back to the same thing with him. I think he's just very comfortable in who he is as a human being. Yeah. And he can just walk into a room and be him, and he knows that if he's him every single day, that he can be successful just being him, right?
Great, you know? And then from there, so I got an A&R opportunity with Just Blaze, the famous producer of Rockefeller. And you know, I was just on him like, you need a label, like Jay-Z's retiring, you know, Kanye's coming up, like, you know, I'm about 18 at this time. So he makes me a deal. He's like, you know, find me an artist. I'll make you the A&R and you'll get paid when we get distribution. I'm like, cool, boom, find him an artist. Self-branding, A&R favorite, A&R's favorite A&R, you know what I mean? Just like, pow, pow, pow.
One of the cool things about all of our disruptors on the show is that a lot of them started very young. Like a lot of them reached success very young, or their version of success very young, you know what I mean? And it's like, for him, you could tell like that journey. And one of the dopest lines from it that Sycamore said was that if he would have hit that skyrocketing moment that propelled him to the top at the age that he was in the beginning, he said he wouldn't have liked himself. Yeah. Because he needed to go through all those different journeys in order to become this person that I was interviewing in that moment. Like for me, that's a very authentic like moment for you as a person to realize that like you were like, you were successful at that moment and stuff, but you needed to get like everybody has a plan to get punched in the face, right? Like Mike Tyson, and you had to be there.
That's life, right?
Yeah, to get to who you really supposed to be in order for you to continue to have that success and feel comfortable in your skin and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think it's like an aha moment. You start to realize in life that the darkest times were your best times, because it's, you know, you had to show the most strength, and it empowered you the most after it happened. But it's hard to know that when you're in it, right? It's dark, right? Like, and stress and struggle always feels like stress and struggle until you get out of it and you realize it was really growth. So, and I think they all talked about their growth in that way, like that they went through all the stress and struggle. And you're right, that really gives you the character of who you are. But it's when you're in the moment, it's hard to realize that. But when you can get like back from it and you look back at it and you're like, oh wow, that was like, I became this person because of this, like, you know, and I'm stronger because of that. And it just, and you know, you keep hearing that story over and over again, and you get to somebody like John Lahara, who, same thing, like, you know, he was doing stuff that he hated in life, and he wasn't confident in himself, and you know, and then he got into real estate, and you know, just to hear his growth pattern right now, he's super into fitness now, and he's super motivated every single day. Like, the person he was in his 20s and the person he is now, they wouldn't even hang out with each other. But it just shows, again, specific things to get to growth, and then as he got to growth, he became this person who's very successful. But it took all those failures and problems and insecurities to get to be this person, right?
So real estate happened to fall on my lap because I was in that business world. My mom was a tax preparer. She wanted me to be an accountant. So I was going to school for that. But it hit a point when I was doing my associates, and I was walking to school, like, bro, it was crazy. It was like this hunch and like this feeling as I was walking to school that, like, what are you doing, John? Like, what is this? Like, there's no meaning. Like, are you enjoying what you're doing? It was just crazy. It wasn't like I mentioned, I didn't have mentors. It was just something that came in from within.
And like a pivoting moment too, like even with like Robert Floria, where he was, you know, I think the guy was Richard Neal or Richard Gere?
Richard Gere, yeah.
Richard Gere, like, how you're coming up in Hollywood and you're doing your thing, and then you're at that moment where you're at the, like, this is the role that's gonna propel you to somewhere else.
That's a crazy analogy too. Like Richard Gere went here and he went here, but like that was the moment. Like you know, at that moment he didn't know that, but like,
at all.
Yeah.
And like that's the difference, like between him becoming a successful Hollywood actor, like being in all these big movies, or him taking that other road. And he didn't get the role. At that moment, a lot of people will go, I gotta
push my chips in.
Yeah, like that. Then you can get into depression, you get into all this. Instead, he like realized that there was other fields, or his wife helped him out too. Like,
so at one point, Barb became pregnant with Chloe, and she said, "Honey, you gotta get a real job." I go, "Get a real job? I mean, we got, you know." She goes, "No. You gotta get I go, "What the hell am I gonna do? What are you talking? I mean, get a real job." She goes, "You got to figure it out." She goes, "What about real estate?" I go, "Real estate?" And that sparked the idea, and I got right into real estate. Over the 40-year career, the total sales were over $4 billion. You know, I understood certain things, and the thing is that if you want to be successful, going the extra mile is where all the money is made.
And for him to take the same energy, effort, power, skills that he had as an actor and actually bring that into real estate and commercial real estate to then become somebody that sold over $4 billion in real estate transaction, it just shows you that, like, even those moments of like that pivot, you know, like on top of like all these people that we interviewed waking up early and having the successful habits of wanting to work hard, one of the biggest things that stayed consistent was the ability to pivot.
Yeah, and even to the last episode where Fernando's story is just like inspiring. Like, he started a business at 17, you know what I mean? It's just like how he was doing business. He was going door to door in buildings where he was getting chased out of. Like, I mean, now he's running for mayor.
Fernando came from drug-infested, like gang members, all of that stuff in the neighborhood that he grew up in, and now he's a serial entrepreneur, doing so many things, running for mayor.
Yeah.
For me, seeing someone, 40, he's 40 years ahead of, he's 40 years older than me, and like Robert, 50, years older. Like, I'm literally sitting there and going, wow. And Fernando telling me that I remind him of him when he was a kid. And me sitting there like looking at it, and I'm like, this is another level of wisdom that we were able to give other people.
My store was open 7 days a week because that's all I had. My business became my life. It's what I dreamt, it's what I slept, remember, I depended on myself in order to pay my rent, support my family. I had a child, and they all depended on me. So I had to make it work. There was no turning back. There was no going back to becoming an employee.
For me, just like, and I saw the process of me starting a new business this year with David, who's my family, and then bringing the rest of our family in, and Gloria and Ivan, and just all of our family into the business, and as you saw it kind of play out on TV, like, we're only in that business for 7 months. And even that has gone fast. Like, we have 13 units at this point now, and the contracting company and the property manager company, and like, how do we build all that in 7 months? But it's because I surround myself by people that want to move the same way I move. Like, when you surround yourself and you partner with people that do the same thing you were saying, you could grow something really fast. And like, just for everything we're doing, like, 2 things that are involved in, that I'm involved in, that are in the show are, my family was represented in the show, and how are we going to grow? How do we grow as a family, right? And how is that involved in my business? And then Disruptors Network is like, where are those 2 things going to be in 2 years or 3 years and 5 years? And like, because I'm sure we'll be doing something else.
Every single step of the way, and this is why I know it's like also guided by the universe and my spiritual self, right? Because it's like everything that we've done so far has also been in service to other people. That like, whether like the TV show stuff, like, none of us are egotistical to want to be for fame. It didn't matter to us. It was more about being able to give people the value from actually people that become very successful, that we idolize, or we really like appreciate their existence and what they've done, the work that they put in, And every step of the way has always been about being able to help other people.
T-minus 10, 9.
More than anything, what I wanted with this program is I wanted them to see the possibilities of what they could be.
Ignition.
Like I wanted them to leave here knowing that the possibilities that they thought before they got here were different after they left here of what they actually could be in life.
Hi, my name is Enmi Almanzar.
My name is Ron.
My name is Kiyozawa. You ready?
Having an apprenticeship like this, it's like the ultimate form of education.
I feel great, man. I'm in a good space, more motivated, and I'm just in a better place at all now. Now I'm building my business, my brand.
I'm a full-time student with like a full-time job. So it was definitely like a lot to balance, but I got through it.
It was just like a rude awakening, but it feels like it came right at the perfect time. I don't want to talk about what I had to struggle through the past 3 months. I just want to talk about where I am right now, what those struggles made me realize.
I don't have to be here. I don't have to be doing this. I do it because I want to do it, and I have to tell them that in a way that doesn't make them turned off by it. Like, look, I really have an interest in you to succeed. Not for financial reasons, because I just want to see you succeed, but I think it's hard to trust that. 3 of them are licensed now, and 1 of them has a full-time job, so it's 4 people all in the business at this point now, but they're all in the business, and they're still around us all the time, which is kind of crazy. Like, we gave the scholarship out, which was, I don't know, like 8 months ago, 9 months ago, and now these people all have careers. You know, Ram is actually a licensed loan officer at this point now. Emily just bought herself a new car from how she's earned here. Kiyozawa is a licensed loan officer at this point now. Tehran has a job with us working at Carlton Financial, so that's a proud moment, you know what I mean? Like that makes me more happy than anything to just see the growth of that. And now from that, we want to grow that into the Disruptors Academy, where it's not just for choosing people, we're going to have a full-time leadership academy where we're doing this at. And you know, that's the next step, which is something we're working on.
Right now, we already impact a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then being able to see something like Disruptor Academy, especially for me, coming out of a hood or coming out of a place where there was not a lot of opportunity. You know, there was drugs, there was gangs, there was killings, there was stabbings, there were all these different things. And there was not a lot of places that you can go to where you can build yourself or get an apprenticeship or something where you can be able to grow and learn about a field that existed, like that you can be able to take your family and take care of your family, you know, and take them out of this environment. The Leadership Academy, I see it as one of those legacy building things for us too, you know, one of those things that we can leave for like humanity, that we could start a Leadership Academy that ends up, everybody starts doing things like this, hopefully with the right intention to be able to grow real entrepreneurs that can be able to impact so many other people's lives and change their own life.
You hit it on in the head. Like, what are we doing now to really focus on what the future of this is? I don't want to create followers, I want to create more leaders, right? Leaders are real people you can grow with. Like, followers are only going to grow as much as you can grow yourself, right? So like, but if you create leaders, like, they'll help you grow more and you can grow together. So how do we create this leadership academy to create more leaders in the community? And that's really what we're working on. And again, what does the growth of that look like in 3 years? And what are those people doing within our organizations? And how many more businesses do we have because of it? This was amazing. It was an amazing season, and I can't wait till what's next.
No, 100%. I think that was a fantastic season, and really grateful for everybody that followed us on this journey and continue to follow it. You know, because what we're doing is really it's not for us, but it's for everybody else. Everybody that can be part of our Disruptor family.
And without them, it doesn't really mean that much.
No, 100%. So we're grateful for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tune in, baby. Let's make it happen.